Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Keck, and this is All Things Fantasy Football. And today I'm joined by Noel Edlinger, and he's my co-host for today's episode. And we're going to do the rankings for the DRF Dynasty Fantasy Football League. This is the Week 8 rankings. We are 8 weeks into the season, and how are you feeling about the season so far, Noel?
It's going exactly as I projected. I'm the champ, and I'm going to win.
Wouldn't expect anything less from you. So let's jump right into the rankings for today. We're going to start off with the number 14 spot. Coming in at a 1-7 record is Straight Outta Tomlin. Losers of 5 in a row. Lost this week to the River Rats. They're one of the bottom teams in scoring. Have a lower efficiency rate of 75% and a play-all record of 11-93, which is the worst in the league. I'm sorry, it's 28, 75, and 1, which is second worst in the league. So what do you think of the Straight Outta Tomlin team coming in at 1-7?
He's tanking, man. He's completely tanking for next year. He had the 1-1 the year before. He made the best trade I've ever seen in fantasy football with old Peterman there this week. Controls his own pick for the next year. Got 2 up-and-coming studs.
He also has Najee Harris as well that he got this year.
He'll have back-to-back 1-1s to go with Deshaun Watson if he ever plays again.
I think Deshaun Watson's going to play again. I think it's just a matter of getting through and finding out how much time he's actually going to miss, because I'm certain that he's going to miss some time with all these allegations coming up. One thing that Straight Outta Tomlin's definitely got to veer away from is putting all his eggs in one basket. And as we know, he's a Pittsburgh fan, has amassed all the Steelers at one point, still has quite a few of them on his roster. I think in order to win in this league, you're going to have to diversify a little bit and spread yourself around and to other teams.
I agree. The rumor is he's going after Chase Claypool pretty hard too.
That was not surprised me at all. So that's the number 14 team, Straight Outta Tomlin. Good old Nate. The number 13 team is the Motorboaters. 2-6, losers of 2 straight, losing to you this week, and has me coming up on tap next week, so it doesn't get any easier for him. Bottom line for this team, though, injuries. What do you think of that?
Yeah, every player he's got gets injured. They just go to his team to die. I mean, he's a classic tanker. He gets a top pick every year. He makes no trades. He's never active. I don't know why he doesn't make trades, but he has a ton of players. He's got a lot of good players. He's got a lot of cap potential.
And those that don't get injured, Calvin Ridley, he goes off on stress leave.
Right.
So that makes it even worse. But out of all the players that he has that are injured, most of them, this is their first year. Ridley, Dobbins, Etienne. So you're not going to move on for them guys when you know Ridley's a stud. The other guys you just got. So you haven't really got a chance to actually feel them. Now, as far as Barkley goes, I could see where you could make a case where Barkley could be a trade option, because that's every single year. I am not a Barkley fan personally. I've moved on from him in every league that I've in, but somebody out there is going to pay the price for him, and somebody will give up that 2 or 3 first-round draft pick for him.
In a cash league, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Why pay year after year after year and make no trades, no acquisitions to make your team? All these players were hurt before the season started.
Yeah. Yep, but I mean, you're not going to move on for those. You know, he did have some guys that filled in when Dobbins went down. He had the backup
Edwards
guy.
Went down before the season started too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to move on from those guys when you just got them. So, but I mean, I could see the case for Barkley for sure, trying to move on from him. Yeah, it's getting to that point, but probably not going to happen this year anyway.
He's got a $40 Allen Robinson aging on his team for no reason.
That's another one too. That's another one that you could see moving on. Because by the time you're relevant, he's not going to be relevant for you. And I've told the same thing from Wiggins when he was making that Kamara trade with you. Why trade for a guy that by the time you're relevant in 2023, Kamara may or may not be relevant at that point. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to trade for those guys. So that was the number 13 team. By the way, he has a play-all record. Where is he here? He's the 11-93. So Motorboaters is the worst one. Clearly the one that needs the most help. So number 12 is Here Goes Nothing. This is Silliman, also coming in at 2-6 record. Losers of one in a row, lost to Chaos, the number one team this week. Looks like we lost Noel here for a minute. He has Show Me the Money coming up next. Again, doesn't get any easier for him. Here Goes Nothing has a play-all record of 39-65, which is pretty decent considering. He has one of the lower end efficiency ratings of 76.2. Bottom 5 in scoring. Silliman's definitely struggling again this year. What do you think about Silliman's team?
I mean, he's coming along. He's had some tough breaks with Zach Moss not playing for a while, and now he really doesn't know how to play. He's got a couple of weapons on his team, probably could be a little more active, but he's another one of them guys. He's hard to trade with.
Don't go too hard on the lieutenant. You'll find yourself in the chow hall working for a while. So yes, definitely. I think he's he's also had a couple of bad draft picks. The 2020 class, when I'm drafting all those players left and right, he gets Keyshawn Vaughn, right around the middle of the draft. And so far, that's a swing and a miss. He gets Zach Moss at the end of the draft. While Moss has been semi-productive, considering how good that draft class was, so far it's just been kind of a swing and a miss for him in that draft class when he had a couple of good picks that could have propelled him. Had it went another way and he takes Justin Jefferson or even like a Michael Pittman or something in those spots, he might have a better record and a better output at this point. That's the thing about the draft. You can do your research. You can think these guys are great, but it's landing spot. And if they don't end up in a spot where they're going to be productive for us as fantasy players, then it's going to be hard to recover when you waste a pick on them.
Right. And although he's hard to trade with, at least he doesn't give up his horses for nothing like some teams do.
Right. And there's that. He definitely does. I know I've been questioned by him a couple times. What do you think of this trade? And I know a lot of people in this league do that. They try to get other people's opinions. I get people's opinion, questioned for leagues I'm not even in. So it's always good, by helping other people and getting extra opinions helps me make better trades myself as well. So,
yep.
So that was the number 12 team. Here Goes Nothing. Coming up at number 11 is Hung Like Hernandez. And this is Wiggy coming in at 3-5. I never expected him to be at 3-5 at this point. Lost one in a row, lost a stop order this week. He's got Belichick coming up next on tap. Hung Like Hernandez is efficiency rating of about 77.4, which is not terrible, but it's in the bottom half for the league. He's got a play-all record of 14-90. But there's, make no mistake, he's not even playing for this year. He's got a draft pick or two next year, but it's 2023 where he's got all the draft picks.
Yes. I mean, all he's got to do is hang on until 2023, and he'll have a shot. He's a fun player in the league. He's fun to trade with.
It's fun to talk crap too.
His team sucks this year.
It does. Yep, it definitely does. But I hold his pick for next year, and he's already won 3 games, so that's definitely knocked him down the pedestal. God. Yeah, thank God, I bet. So that's Wiggins' team coming at 3-5. Hang in there, Wiggy. 2023 is coming. Just don't trade all those picks before the draft gets here. That was number 11. Number 10, we got Stop Order coming up next. Started off 2-0, lost 5 straight, but they've got to win this week against Hung Like Hernandez. They got the 14th ranked team straight out of Tomlin coming up. Their efficiency rating is about 76.8, which is bottom 3 or 4 in the league. He has a play-all record of 45-59, which is actually really good for a record of 3-5. He's been in some games where he's put up a lot of points and is able to hang with a team, and then he'll have a bad week where he's way low on the totem pole. How do you think Stop Order's done so far this year?
Stop Order is just one of those teams where he does something you agree with, and then he follows it up with 5 or so trades that make absolutely no sense. He traded the unanimous 1-1 pick, and he got Aaron Jones, and he got Tyler Lockett, and I thought that was a good haul for him, even though he wasn't a complete rebuild. He then peddled away Aaron Jones for literally nobody. He got Myles Gaskin, who he thought was going to be somebody, and he's probably the most inconsistent player in fantasy football.
Terrible. I hate Myles Gaskin.
I myself gave him a crazy trade where I gave him several players, but he just doesn't play the right people. He gets hot and he doesn't want to trade anybody. And then
And that's why that efficiency rating of 76.8, that means he's not starting the correct people. Scoring wise, he's put up let me see, it looks like he's put up 784 points this year, which is right around eight or nine in the league. So he's right around the middle of the league for scoring. He's got a fair amount of bench points too. So that means he's just not starting, like you said, the right people each week.
He has a lot of good players, but he doesn't have any great players. And he can make some deals with people and get some proven vets to come in. He just doesn't do it for whatever reason. But then he makes a trade every once in a while and completely blows it up.
And I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any draft picks either.
No, he did not.
And going forward, that means you're going to ride with these same, middle tier players every for the next couple of years until you get some more draft picks.
And he was the owner of Tomlin's #1 overall pick for this upcoming year, which will be the #1 pick.
Right. Right now, it's at least a 1-game lead on that for Tomlin. As long as he doesn't mess around and win a game, it's always possible. It's possible.
Right.
Yeah, but definitely, if you're going to be a middle of the road, like where Hung like Hernandez has those same type of players, those middle of the road, average players, he also has a future. He has something to look forward to. Where Stockporter right now has those middle of the road players, and he really is going to have to wait until probably 2024 at the very earliest before he's able to draft any players, unless he gets some draft picks in a trade.
I think his team's good enough to make a run right now. He just starts the wrong people and he makes the wrong decisions.
Well, the good news is that we're starting seven in the playoffs, and that puts him only a game out of the playoffs at this point, eight games in. So there's definitely time then to recoup. I don't know what his schedule looks like. For this week coming up, he has a nice winnable game. He has to get that game to get him to 4-5 to get him back in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
That was number 10 stop order. Coming up next, we have the number 9 River Rats, 3-5 winners of 1 in a row. They beat the straight out of Tomlin team. They have Chaos on tap coming up next, number 1 team in the league going into this week. Let's see, the River Rats, as far as their efficiency rating, 83.9, which is in the top. Looks like the top 4 for the league. Points wise, 925 points scored, puts him 4th in scoring. He has a play-all record of 68, 35, and 1. So he's just had, by all accounts, it looks like he's just had some bad luck. He's scoring, he's getting the right guys in the lineup. Looks like he's just ran into everybody's buzzsaw, and his record doesn't reflect how good he's actually playing.
Right. I don't agree with Paxi being at 9. I would put Paxi at 4.
Yeah, I agree. That the reason he's this low was the wins. He had went on a 4-game losing streak, and I definitely feel like he's way better than the ranking. But it comes down first to the points and all that stuff is great, but the wins and losses is where to get you in the playoffs first. So I feel that ship will right itself out in the next few weeks. Definitely has a tough one coming up against Chaos this week. Chaos doesn't have Derrick Henry, which is definitely a plus if you have him coming up on your schedule. But you got to get that win at some point. Dropping to 3-6, that's going to make it real hard to make that playoff push.
Yeah, I do think if he beats Chaos this week, he jumps up 5 or 6 spots.
Right, I agree.
Nick Chubb's back. Diggs is going to perform. He's got Stafford. He's got a playoff team.
Yes, he does. And Diggs got his first touchdown this past week. Yeah.
He is the hardest person in this 14-man league to make a trade with.
Absolutely. Hardest person.
He made some deals early on that really screwed him over, and he just holds a grudge. And any deal he has to do, he has to, bend
you over the pool table. Yep, he does too. Yep, I agree. I had made a trade in another league with him where I was desperate for a quarterback, and he knew I was desperate for a quarterback, and I greatly overplayed for that quarterback. So he is definitely very hard to trade with, but if you've got a good team, you hold on to your players if you can. So, but I definitely agree. Chubb's coming back. Looks like we lost Noel again here. Chubb's coming back. Diggs is finally starting to get some production. So I think the River Rats will definitely make a climb up the board going forward here.
Yes,
are you in there? Okay. So that was the number 9 team, River Rats. Next one up, the number 8 team is Show Me Your TDs. It's Bergie. I'm sure we're gonna have fun with this one. Bergie is 4-4, losers of 2 in a row. He has lost to Belichick this week and has Motor City coming up on tap coming up, which is no easy task. Show Me Your TDs is a 77% efficiency, so he's not too bad, right around the middle. Scored 802 points, so he's in the top half for scoring. He's got a 53-51 play-all record, so he's about half as far as beating people. What do you think about Bergie's Show Me Your TDs team? I can't wait for this one.
I think Bergie is a nuisance. He is hands down the most annoying player in the league. And here's why.
Coming from you, this is awesome.
No. He's real active. He wants to trade, but he doesn't. I think he just wants to talk to you. He will send you multiple messages every single day. And it's not just me. I know he does it to about 5 other players in this league.
We love you, Bergie. You can send me messages anytime you want, Bergie.
Yeah, Barton is a prime example. He told me he had this deal worked out with Bergie today. And I said, you know what? Give it a little time, because what he's going to do, he's going to back out and then he disappears. This is just what Bergie does. He's a nuisance. He drives you nuts. He will send you an offer, via messenger, something that he knows you will probably take, just to get your attention, to hold you there, to leave you there for 3 days. This is what Bergie does. He's a nuisance. I wouldn't put him at 8. I'd put him somewhere at 13. He is an absolute pain in the ass. I'm just letting you know. That's what I think. And I also think he has dismantled that team. Any trade he does make is usually in a bad way. He knows he makes a bad trade, so he's got to make up for it in the up and coming trades that he does.
Great. He definitely made it. I mean, he also joined the league after we already had some experience in the league, so he had to learn on the fly, where we all already had what we were doing. We had a plan already kind of mapped out. So Bergie had to kind of learn on the fly. So you got to give him a little bit of slack as far as that part goes. But what he does going forward now, definitely you can hold him to that, because he does make a lot of trades. But I remember LaRon, Motor City, in my first league, LaRon, and he'll tell you too, he was a trading machine, and he traded just to trade. He didn't make himself any better, didn't make himself any worse. And sometimes he's trading an apple for an apple, and it was just crazy. I feel like that's what Bergie did when he first got here. Hopefully he learns from it, and even Wiggy's done the same thing. Got in here, started trading like crazy, and you gotta start leveling it off, and then start making trades that make your team better, and not just trade to trade.
I don't even think he's trading to trade now. I think he just trades to talk. I think he switched facilities. He wants some friends. He really is a nuisance to me.
Bergie, we know you miss us. You got my phone number.
I know he does.
If you want to talk, we can chat, Bergie. Just call. Yeah, we'll get you on the show next week, and you can talk with the 3 of us on here. We'll have a little 3-way window here going on for the video. You can come on. You can talk some football with us. You can shout at Noel a couple times.
I'm not talking trades.
We're not talking trades on here, though. We'll be here for 3 days, and it's probably like a 30-minute show. So, anyways, that was the number 8 team. Show Me Your TDs. Coming up next is number 7, Future DRF, at 4-4. Efficiency rating of just under 80%, like 79.9. They've scored 812 points, which is top 5 or 6. He has a play-all record, just like Bergie, of 53-51. He beat Motor City this week, which is a huge win for him. Pushed him up the rankings a little bit, sitting at 4-4. He's got the champ on tap next. This coming up this week. And I know you've been waiting. You told me you had a minute, so we might have a minute and a half here about talking about Futures team. And I'm not going to mute you, so you're good to go. What do you think about Futures team?
Peterman, not only is he going to get thumped this week, but he should be moving back down the rankings. This man bugged me for 3 weeks about a DeAndre Hopkins trade, and every day he added a player just to turn around and make the worst deal I've ever seen in fantasy football. He gave away the 1-1 pick for next year, which nobody really knows who it's going to be, but we know it's probably going to be an RB1. And the guy's probably going to Miami or somewhere where they're going to give somebody the tote 30 times a game. He also gave away Brandon Ayuk for nothing and the speedster from the Jets, Elijah Moore. All of that was sent for Deontay Johnson. It's the worst trade I've ever seen in this 14-man league, except for what you used to do to Wiggy. But for him to send that, for him to have these offers out where it's Hopkins for this pick, or, you know, he's saying the same thing to Paxi for Stephon Diggs, to end up with Deontay Johnson, to lose the 1-1 and to send Elijah Moore and Brandon Ayuk with it. It just doesn't make sense. He's completely dismantled this team he had. He sent Amari Cooper away for next to nothing. He sent AJ Brown, who is the number 1 dynasty receiver in the league. He got Chris Godwin back for him, but it just wasn't the right offer.
Not the same level.
He sent Aaron Jones away for nothing. He got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, and then he gave him to me for nothing. He's peddled away every player he's had on his team. He loves to trade, I'll give him that, but he makes the wrong trades.
Yep. And that's pretty much what you were telling me you had lined up there. I was waiting for the ammo to come out, and it came firing. So future, the shots have been fired. Have to get you on here one time if you want to rebut those.
There's no rebuttal. Everybody in the league would agree with it. And Nate was, you know, the sole person getting his 1-1 protected pick back. That will be the 1-1.
Yeah.
Nate
great trade for Nate, though. Yeah. Nate needed that trade. Nate was literally looking at the next 3 years of having Najee and nothing else. So I think that trade definitely is going to give him a nice 2-back combo. Once we figure out who that back is and where they go, it'll give Nate at least a nice 2-player combo to build his team around. So,
right. The biggest problem with Shane and his team, though, is his trades reflect your record. So me or you, we're not going to get the same trade as somebody like Nate or somebody like Wiggins. And it just doesn't make any sense. The stuff he offers, the stuff he rejects, and then the stuff he accepts. It makes no sense to me.
Right.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yep. I hear you. I agree. I know that too when I make trades with somebody that I'm going to have to pay a little bit more, unless I'm dealing with you. But I mean, I'm going to have to pay a little bit more when I make a trade than Wiggins is going to have to pay for that same player. So that was the number 7 team future. Number 6 on tap, we have the Motor City Machine Guns, LaRon Tanner, coming in at 5-3. 904 points scored, which is 5th in the league. Yes, 6th in the league in scoring. Has an efficiency of about 76%, which is, right in the middle of the pack. Has a playoff record of 60, 42, and 2. Nice shot at the ceiling there. Motor City lost 2 in a row now, losing to Future, and he's got Show Me Your TDs coming up on tap. So what do you think of LaRon's Motor City team, a team you've pretty familiar with since you played him in the title game?
LaRon is another one of them guys, as soon as he gets what he wants from you, he's done dealing with you. He's made some trades. I have traded him almost every single player on his team. And now he just proceeds that. The problem with LaRon, here's the biggest problem with LaRon. LaRon will send you a trade via messenger. This was a prime example. Yesterday, he asked me about McNichols. I said, yeah, I'll take him. I said, what do you want for him? He sends me exactly what he wants for him. I said, you know what? Deal. I'll do it. I'll send you the trade right now. He goes, okay, send me the trade. I send the trade. Hour goes by. I said, what are you doing? He's I'm real busy right now. As he's messaging in the chat, messaging me, doing whatever he's doing. What he's doing is he's just peddling to 3 other teams. And I know this because I talked to Shane and I talked to Barton at work. And what he does is he peddles the players that he might get from me. And then he peddles the players on board now, and he makes it the best for himself. It's not the right way to play. And karma bit him today because he didn't accept my trade, and then he took Shane's trade, and now Henry Ruggs is he's dead.
He's dead.
He's never going to play in the league again.
I don't necessarily off topic for a little bit about that, but I don't know if you saw my comment today. Dante Stallworth in 2009 did the exact same thing.
Right. This is 2021 now, though.
DUI, got in a crash. But I mean, any lawyer is going to probably take that and try to run with it. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to get the exact same, but I'm just saying don't be surprised if his career isn't over. Dante Stallworth got 30 days in jail, got suspended from the league for a year. So, maybe it's a little more than that, but I don't feel like Henry Ruggs' career is over. I definitely think he's, something's going to happen, obviously. Guess we'll just have to wait and see on that. But, don't be surprised
Dante Stallworth was he paid the family off.
Yeah, and who knows if it doesn't happen again, Never know. So I just say, do I agree with it? No, not necessarily. Just don't be surprised if his career's not over. So that was number 6, Motor City. Number 5, a guy we both know very well, our partner out in 800 unit, Belichick, yourself, 4-4, winners of 2 in a row, beating Show Me Your TDs this week, has Hung Like Hernandez up next week. So perfect spot to get to 5-4 if you can get the win this week. He's got a 905 points scored, which is 3rd, 4th, 5th in the league. 84.3% efficiency, which is tops in the league. So he's getting the best players in. Has a playoff record of 69-35, which is really good. Got to have some guys coming back from injury here soon, pretty soon with McCaffrey. Kittle comes back this week. Michael Thomas should be back soon. So Belichick starting to get some wins, right? Get some good opponents right when he needs to, getting some wins, but he's also going to be getting those players back pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't have him at my number 5. I would probably have him closer to 10. He's played fantasy football for a long time, but I just don't think he's ever really figured it out. You know, he's one of those guys, he overthinks everything in life, and he has to do 30 reviews on anything he ever does. You know, he thinks his players are God, and he refuses to trade anybody. You know, he's had some good luck lately because he has the backup running back to about 9 different teams, and they all happen to start in a 3-game span for him and got him some points and got him some wins.
Cordell Patterson's definitely helped too as well.
I do think he sneaks into the playoffs, but I hope I play him week 1.
Yeah,
because I'm just going to shut him out, and then I'm going to continue to work with him every day, and he's going to know he's going to be a little brother for the rest of his life.
Well, if he is in a division that is pretty weak, so if he gets in, it's probably going to be as a division winner, and it'll probably be a 3 seed. So you probably won't see him for quite some time in the playoffs.
Just an outsider looking at his team, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, I feel like he streams a quarterback every week. He can't figure out what to do there. He has 9 backup running backs to about 9 different teams on his thing. He's got Christian McCaffrey, who he's been offered 5 first-round picks for at multiple times since he's had him. He's got Michael Thomas, who people have offered him crazy trades for him too, and he just continues to hold and fold his players every year. And maybe he'll take 3rd place.
Maybe he'll take 3rd place. Well, definitely he's trending up though. You got to at least give him that his players are supposed to come back. McCaffrey maybe this week, maybe week 10. Kittle's coming back this week.
Default. He's only trending up by default. He's playing nobody, and he's trending up by default. He's not a contender in this league, and he knows it.
He's a beneficiary of an easy schedule right when he needed it the most.
Right.
So, all right, that was number 5, Belichick. Number 4 team coming up is a team fast on the rise. Show Me the Money. Barton's team. Probably not a team I'd have necessarily up that high, but he's definitely getting the wins. Winners of 2 in a row, 5-3 record. Beat me this week. Nothing I could have done could have got the win. He put up more points than I could have mustered up in the week. He definitely has Here Goes Nothing coming up. So while sitting at 5-3, he has a nice easy opponent coming up for himself. He has got an efficiency rating of 81.6, which is in the top 5% or top 5 of the league. And he has a playoff record, though, of 47-57 because he's had a lot of low games. But as of late, he's had 2 or 3 games where he's put up some points. What do you think of Barton's team? Another guy we know very well.
I think Barton, what he's done with this team is remarkable. The guy that had it last time was absolutely horrible. I do feel like the only reason I didn't get DK Metcalf is because I was the 3-time champ. But we'll go into that at a different time. I do think Barton is an actual contender in this league. I really do. I think how he got AJ Brown, I still don't understand.
Right.
But AJ Brown is a powerhouse right now. And he's got a lot of rookie young running backs that have a lot of trade value right now because they're so young.
And what he did was when he took the team over, DK Metcalf was the only guy he had. And he and he waited till draft day. And you all know, on draft day, our trades are insane. Everybody gets crazy because everybody wants in the draft. Everybody wants to move up. So everybody's trying to make that splash play. So he waited for the perfect time, traded the best player he had, and got the most for it in return. And then somehow, like you said, was able to get AJ Brown, which is absolutely crazy anyway. So you trade DK Metcalf, get a max deal for him, and then you get AJ Brown. So basically replacing Metcalf. So. And then if you go deeper into his team too, I mean, he's got
players at every level. He's got Tyler Higbee at the tight end. He's got Justin Fields sitting on his taxi squad, who, I mean, really could be a big breakout guy. He's got Jamal Williams in Detroit, who, I mean, gets 60% of the carries over there. He's got Michael Carter, who's just now turning it on. He's got Javonte Williams. Melvin Gordon's gone at the end of the season.
And he's starting to turning it on now too. So all those running backs are turning it on like we knew they would, like about mid-season, about the middle of the season. So I agree. He's definitely a
He's
contender.
got Mark Ingram, who just went back to the Saints. I mean, I know he's 31, but as soon as he went back to the Saints re-signed him for next year. So he's coming back for another year. He's only 31.
Yep, definitely going to get some play out of him. Like I said, I think if Barton's done a fantastic job of that team. He was in the league before. He probably shouldn't have left the team that he had initially, but in doing so, he's actually done a great turnaround in a very short time with this roster.
And I think he'll peddle some of these rookies for some contenders and make a run before the year's over.
I agree. He's a trader. He likes to move and shake a little bit too. So
yep.
Definitely, I didn't have too much of an issue with putting him up that high, and he even said I should be in the top 5, and I was like, we'll see. But I already had in my head, I knew he belonged there. He's made a good run, made a good splash. Probably the most improved team in the league, I think.
Right.
So that's the number 4 team. Show me the money. Number 3 team is my team, Chicago, 6-2, losers of 1 in a row, losing to that show me the money team. Got Motorboaters up next, team that I definitely should, blow out of the water considering you can't field a starting lineup. The number 2 in scoring, only 5 points behind you, by the way, just so you know I'm closing in on you. Efficiency ranking of about 77%, which is not too bad considering I've got so many guys to pick from. It's hard to pick the right guy every week. So being at 77, I'm not mad about it, which is right in the middle of the pack. Play all record, the best in the league, 83-21. But this past week had the worst scoring outing the week before that. So two weeks in a row, I've put up the worst scoring outings that I've had for the season. I was able to get one of them. I got a win. This week, I was not, scoring only 92 points. What do you think about my roster? You're
horrible. I think if you were smart, you'd peddle me Justin Jefferson. But,
why not DK?
Your greatest weakness, is your biggest attribute, really. You have the deepest bench in the league. You can't figure out who to start. And it probably would eat at me every day if that was me, but it doesn't with you.
Do you know, ironically, though, I don't even have the most bench points in the league. LaRon has that at 1,014. I have 970. So even though I have a very deep bench, LaRon's bench is scoring just a little bit more than mine. So I do have a deep bench. I think
you have a top 3 team in this league. But I also think your rookies hit so hard coming out of the gate last year that a lot of people thought you were just going to run away with the league this year. But,
I still think I'm going to.
He's not going to catch 3 touchdowns a game anymore.
No.
He's tapered off. There's a lot of them that kind of, I wouldn't say tapered off, but came back to reality.
Came back to reality a little bit. I agree. I agree with that. I still think I'm going to win the league.
I don't
just saying.
So.
That's the number 3 team. Chicago Fire, 6-2. Coming up next is number 2 team. This is your team, 7-1, winners of 5 in a row. You beat a Motorboaters team by the skin of your teeth this week, scoring your low for the week, 72 points. You have Future coming up next, and he might have some words for you this week, considering you trashed his team in the video here earlier. But you got him coming up next. You are a 1,038 point scored, which is tops in the league by about 5 points. You have an efficiency of 83.3, which is 3rd in the league, which makes sense because you have no bench. So you're going to start your best players every week because you have no one else to start. You have a play all record of 78-26, which is tied for 2nd with Chaos. What do you think about your team? Should I mute him now?
It's the best team in the league. There's nothing else to say here. Nobody's beating this team. If I don't catch an injury, I'm winning the league. It's hands down. It's running away with. I got the top 3 receivers in the league, and Chase is beating them all right now.
And you haven't had an injury where other teams have had massive amounts of injuries. You have been extremely lucky.
Right now. I just got to figure out how to play a running back. That's it. I'm going to stream a running back for the rest of the year. Kansas City turns it around. I'm in the chip.
I don't know that Kansas City is going to turn it around. I think they're showing who they are this year. So I guess we'll have to see about that. I definitely agree. You have one of the best starting lineups in the league.
It's the best.
I think there's 2 or 3 teams better than yours, but you have the best lineup, and that makes you a challenge and tough to beat any given week. But I think we'll run into one of those Kansas City pitfalls somewhere in that playoff, and you'll be tapping out pretty early.
Not a chance.
That's the number 2 team, the champ. Number 1 team coming up on tap. He's winners of 7 straight after losing the opener. 7-1 overall. Beat Here Goes Nothing this week and has the River Rats on tap coming up this week. Efficiency rating of 76.3. He's also got a pretty deep team. He's got some players that he can use. He's scored 1,000 points also to join Chicago and Champ as the only 3 teams to hit the 1,000-point mark so far this year. Has a play-all record of 78-26, which is tied with the Champ for second in that regards. What do you think of Chaos, a guy who lost Derrick Henry for possibly the rest of the year?
It's over. It's over. His reign as number 1 is over. It's going to happen this week when old Paxi knocks him off. Having a guy that touches the ball 40 times a game in your starting lineup is unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of, and this is probably why Derrick Henry is injured right now.
Right.
He touches the ball 40 times a game. It's too much volume for any player, and now he's done for the year. It's a huge hit to his team, and I don't think he's going to bounce back from it. I think he's going to go on a nice losing streak right now. And I mean, I think he makes playoffs, obviously. But
right, yeah, it's hard not to once you've got 7 wins already. I agree with you there. I think he's not in trouble. I mean, like you said, he's going to make the playoffs. But I think Derrick Henry is putting up an MVP season, and it's really sad because I was kind of rooting for him to get the MVP to not have a quarterback fill that void that fill that spot that happens every year, and to have a running back just coming out of the gate like he was doing, just blowing teams away.
He needs that.
Yeah, he definitely needed that.
He has inconsistencies in his roster.
Yep.
If you looked at the top 3 games, the top 3-4 games of the season, you had Mike Williams balling out. He's tapered off. You had Hollywood Williams, balling out. He's completely tapered off.
Yep, I agree. Like I said,
Chase Claypool. He's playing in Pittsburgh. Nobody knows what Pittsburgh doing on any given week. They've all been injured. Adam Thielen's getting old. I mean, he has a great trio in LA, but the last 2 games, LA has not looked like the same LA team.
Eckler's still looking pretty good, but definitely has. Antonio Gibson hasn't looked like the guy from last year.
No, and he's
now you got to count on him in your lineup. Again, I always say you're number 1 until someone proves otherwise. So he's still at that spot. I don't feel like it's going to be it's going to last for too much longer. Somebody's going to definitely take him out. He's still got games, like you said, with River Rats. I know I'm on his schedule still, so he's got a few teams that can knock him off.
He's got
off
some
the
tough
pedestal.
games.
Yes, got some tough games going.
That consistent 30 points a week though is really going to come and bite him in the butt.
It's like you take the best player off any of our teams, and it's going to hurt. It doesn't matter.
And I've been telling him for years, he has a ton of receivers. Like, why do you have 6 or 7 receivers every year that are all mid-level tier 3 receivers? Why don't you package 2 of them and go get a tier 1 guy?
Yeah. Yep. Get somebody.
He's also hard to trade with.
Also hard to trade with.
Paxi, but he's hard.
Well, and he was riding the high too. I mean, when you're, like I said, he's won 7 in a row. He's blowing people out. It's hard to make any kind of moves when you're, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
I mean, 3 days ago, Derrick Henry was impossible to trade. Yeah. You couldn't have given him enough to trade him.
No. And now what do you do with him now?
He's out for the season. He's going to be 27?
27 next year. Yep. So
on the back 9.
Coming on the back 9. So it's going to be hard to, and I've got him in another league too, and I have to make that same decision on what am I going to do with him. So it's definitely a tough spot to be in. There's pretty much shows that it's pretty wide open. There's 4 or 5 teams I think that can make a splash. But now with the loss to Derrick Henry, Chaos has made it so that everybody else feels a little bit better about their chances. Still sitting at number 1, but we'll see how long that's for. Any other
as far as your top 14, I got Paxi in the top 7. I got Shane out of the top 7. I don't really know about Depew, but if he makes the playoffs, I'm putting him at 7. And I think Bond sneaks his way into the playoffs. He's got a sneaky team. He's got some players that nobody knows about with like Christian Kirk and Leonard Fournette, where they're just absolutely balling right now. I think Bond turns his losing streak around here quick.
Yep, it all depends on the schedule. You got to get the W's. We know that. That's why Paxi dropped to begin with. He lost 4 straight. He's on his way to turn around. I think he's definitely going to turn around and he'll move up. I think Chaos is going to slide down a little bit. So, I guess we're going to have to see. It was good having you on today. You have any other comments before I cut her loose?
I'm the champ.
We wouldn't expect anything else. For all things fantasy football, I'm Richard Keck for Noel Edlinger. Thanks for listening to us. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, comment, and share on the YouTube channel here, and I will have this posted up as soon as possible. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.